Wind. Have you ever thought about it in your wildlife photography? It affects birds in flight and animals. If you want to track animals such as deer, hares, foxes, you want to know which direction the wind's blowing. Follow me and I'll show you how to take it as a part of your toolbox for wildlife photography. So you got to your location and you notice the birds are flying. You set up in your spot and you think you're going to get amazing in-flight shots or takeoff and landing shots of your particular subject. And then you keep thinking, why am I getting all the bum shots, so to speak? Shots of the bird's rear. Well, it's the wind direction. Birds, just like aircraft, will always take off and land into wind. This is because the wind speed over the wings makes it easier for them to fly, creates more lift over the wings, and just they have to use less energy to get in the air. That's why on windy days, you'll see kestrels hovering, and you'll see kites and buzzards hovering and flying around on the wind currents as well, as it's easier for them. So, how do you find out the wind direction? Well, there are a number of methods, and I'm going to take you through them. So how do you find out the wind direction? Well, there's a number of methods. You can use the weather forecast, on TV, online, and you can see which direction the wind is blowing. But that only tells you the direction. And how do you know when you get to your location which direction it's coming from? So one of the top tips is to use your phone compass. Most phones now have got built-in compass, and you can use that as a guide, noting which the wind direction was forecast, and then when you get to the location, taking out your compass on the phone or a normal compass, and then having a look which direction it's coming from. Another way of finding the wind direction is when you get to your location, picking up some grass or some loose material that's light and throwing it in the air and seeing which way it blows. As you can see, the wind is blowing from here to over there. So the wind direction is that way. So another way of finding the wind direction, take a little bit of string from home, hold it up, and as you can see, the wind is blowing it in a certain direction, and it's blowing it from here to over there. The wind direction is this way. If you're by a body of water, such as a lake or the sea, you can see that you've got calmer water on the inside of here, and it gets rougher as it goes further out. That means the wind direction is that way. So now you know how to find the wind direction. So what does this mean for wildlife photography, particularly birds in flight in this instance? Well, birds always take off and land into wind. So if you've got the wind blowing on your back, the bird will always take off or land towards you. The wind is blowing in your face, the bird will probably land and take off away from you, so giving you those bum shots. If you're at a location with a cliff, such as a gorge or sea cliffs, and the wind is blowing against the cliffs, what you'll find is will create updraft, and then you'll find the birds should be flying along the cliffs in a sort of horizontal motion, left to right, right to left. They utilize the updraft, so they don't actually have to use any energy to stay airborne whilst hunting out their prey. As you can see here from this example of a kestrel hovering, this was a very strong wind blowing against the Avon Gorge and enable this kestrel to just literally stay in one position. If you're photographing mammals such as deer, hares, badgers and foxes, you do need to be aware of the wind direction. Deers, hares, badgers and foxes have a very sensitive sense of smell, and us humans all smell. So you need to be positioned in a way that the wind does not blow your smell towards them. The wind carries your smell. When you're at your location, find the wind direction by using the techniques I've shown you to use. With mammals, you want to have the wind blowing your smell away from the animal. So you need to be downwind of the animal with the wind blowing on your face. If the wind is blowing on your back, then you are upwind the animal and it will smell you and will probably run off as it senses you as a threat present. So to recap, wind on your face means you're downwind. The animal cannot smell you. Wind on your back means you're upwind and the animal can smell you. So in summary, find your wind direction using the techniques shown. For birds in flight, taking off and landing, wind on your back or side will mean that the bird will probably be facing you and you'll get some great shots. For mammals, wind on your face, and that means that your smell is not travelling towards them. I really hope these tips help you in getting some awesome wildlife photos when you're next out in nature. If you found this useful, why don't you give me a like and subscribe for more wildlife photography tips.